Hey everyone, so this is going to be part 3 of my Alienware M15 M7 versus my Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED display. And as you can see, right now we are indoors, but I have my overhead. I have this one light, my floodlight, that's like 10,000 lumens, so it kind of replicates daylight. And as much as I try to be thorough and in-depth with some of my videos, I do forget things here and there. So right now you guys are seeing that I'm just at the laptop's wallpapers. It's one of my Superman wallpapers, but it's a black wallpaper with Superman. And you can see the differences between the Aero 15 OLED right here on the right where my reflection is, and the Gigabyte and the Alienware M15 R7 to the left, where you can barely see any reflections. But going through to what I forgot, and that is hopefully this is in focus because I'm recording with my Panasonic, because my Sony does not have good stabilization no matter if I put it on steady shot or not. The Panasonic has almost gimbal like stabilization with its 5-axis in-body stabilization, and my kit lens are stabilized also. So it's like 6-axis stabilization or 6 points of stabilization on my Panasonic G85. Anyways, the reason why I have the Panasonic is because we're going to go off angle. Like when you're not directly viewing them from the front, how do the two displays look, right? So I'm gonna go up now, and we're going to see how they look. First, you can see here with the Alienware. And now with my Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED. And then we're going to go to the extreme, like, what is this? To the extreme right on the Gigabyte Aero 15. And here on the Alienware. Now we're gonna go, if I can fit, to the extreme left. And don't mind my reflections. And there you go. And that's for indoors. And I'm probably gonna try to take it outdoors later. Right now it's still kind of cloudy outside because it's morning time, so we'll probably wait till the sun comes out a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna get ready to run another video demo. This one is from the last video, the Sony action demo that I found out about, Sony Bravia demo. But earlier in the test with my Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED, I just wanted to show you guys the settings. That, like I said, with my Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED, it's just at its default. I never had to change to anything. I never got a color calibrated or anything. The Alienware though, what I usually do with my Alienware is I go to here to Dolby, and here on settings in Dolby, you can see there's a Dolby Vision, bright, dark, and then vivid. I usually have it on vivid, and that's what I got the laptop calibrated for, is vivid, and that'll give it the best contrast and punchy blacks and things like that, versus just regular, which is this one, bright. So if we go to bright and go back to the screen right here, you can see they're almost similar, but you can see it gets much brighter, and but it's not as color accurate, or it probably might be, but not as much as the Aero 15 OLED. So I usually always have it in vivid settings, and that's where I have it for the best calibration when I calibrated it. So just wanted you guys to know that. And it didn't really matter though if I put it on Dolby Bright or Dolby Vivid. Either setting, when I measured the screen brightness for HDR at 584 on the Alienware M15 R7, it was still, 584 what it was its brightest that it got. Okay, now in the previous videos I had mentioned, you know, the color readings and measurements and stuff like that. I said you know, 100% of sRGB, 98% of Adobe RGB, 99% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. What are those mean? sRGB is just like standard red, green, blue, and that's the standard colors from, I think it was developed by Microsoft and gosh, I can't remember, Microsoft and somebody else, and that's for, you know, for printing and paperwork. So if you have 100% of the sRGB, whatever you put on photo should match what you print out. Adobe sRGB though has a more wide and more colors in its spectrum, even colors that you can't see. So with Adobe RGB, you're going to get more colors, or it tries to measure more colors. And that's why usually when you have some of these laptops or even TVs and monitors, you'll see that sometimes, even though they can get 100% of the sRGB, they can't get 100% of Adobe RGB. And then DCI-P3 is just an extension of the regular DCI, and DCI was started from the Digital Cinema Initiative, and P3 I guess is for professional, three colors, red, green, blue. And DCI P3 is what's used as a measurement standard for when you're making like cinema or film or videos. So that is an explanation of all those color measurements right there. Oh, and then delta E, error correction, or delta E, that is the measurement for how close your colors are to real life. So the lower the number or the closer it is to 0, the more accurate it is. And like I told you guys, the Aero 15 OLED out of the box was less than 1% of the delta E, and I got the Alienware to 1.5% of the delta E. Okay, let's start playing these two videos. Hopefully I can get them both playing at the same time while holding this camera. I probably won't. And we'll check out the viewing angles. Okay, it should be almost the same, so let's check the angles now. So pay attention to see if there's any color shift on the two laptops. And these are very extreme angles. I don't think anybody is going to be watching the two laptops at any of these angles. Okay. So no one would probably be playing these laptops at these angles, by the way. We're watching them from these extreme viewing angles, but we want to see right how good their colors are when they're off axis. Okay, so that should be a good idea in general of how the two laptops look in off-axis angles and viewings. Let's see how they look like directly from the top. I'm gonna just tilt them like this, as far back as they can get. It looks like the Alienware can go back. No, they're almost the same. So that's if you were looking at them from the bottom. So which one is holding its colors better? And one more time from the extreme angle, looking at them from the bottom. And then going from this angle. And then this angle. And then from the top. Actually, let me turn down my light and let's see how it looks like in a darker room environment. So when there's not as much light, it looks like the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED has, well, in general, OLED's going to have better viewing angles, better than IPS, better than VA panels. As you guys can see, we're going to do one more. We're going to do the Samsung Quantum Dot OLED demo. Let me get them both in sync. Okay. Go up. So that should be good enough for the indoor test. Let's take them outside, so we'll see you there. Okay, here we are outdoors. This is about as bright as it's going to get. It's about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And as you guys, I don't know if you guys can see the sun out there, but it's pretty bright. You guys can see my reflection on the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED, not so much on the Alienware. And it's been pretty cloudy, misty, overcast most of the day, so we're in this perfect area outside in our backyard where it usually gets most of the sun. So hopefully this should be good enough, because you guys can see my reflections right there on the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED, not so much on the Alienware M15. We're gonna do the starting with the background test with the dark background Superman. Let's go off to the sides. Then let's tilt it like if we were looking at them right there. Okay. Now let's do the video test. Okay, let's see if I can get these in sync. You guys see anything? I really don't right now. So as you guys can see in the off angles, even at their brightest settings, both of these laptops are pretty hard to see in the sunlight. The Alienware, because of its reflectivity, and the Alienware, because of its matte finish, there's a lot of glare from the sun, and the Aero 15 OLED is just super reflective with its screen. Here we go. Off to the side. As you can see, off to the side, you can't really see the two screens. All you can see is the reflections on the Aero 15 OLED. Up top, you can see a little bit, and a little bit from the Alienware. But on this side, actually on the Alienware does better from its off angle, more so than the Aero 15 OLED. Where all you see on the Aero 15 OLED are reflections. Okay, I'm gonna untilt the screens. Put them back in their proper spot. We'll do this one more time. see there's just too much reflections on the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED. It's better from the top, whereas on the Alienware it does a little bit better because of its anti-reflectiveness. Oh, is that demo over? I think my camera's losing focus. It's not seeing anything. Okay, let's move on. Okay. I don't even think we need to do our off-angle test on these, should we? Because you guys could already see pretty much difficult to see on both. Okay, this is the Sony 4K Another World demo. That shows outdoors scenes and stuff like that. If I can just get them both in sync. Should I go off angles on this one? Why the heck not? There you go. So in really bright sunlight you can see the anti-reflective abilities of the Alienware. Shows a lot of glare but not too much reflections. The glossy screen of the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED has a lot of reflectivity. Hey boy, you want to say hi? And in certain parts it does do better, but off angle there's just too much reflection on the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED, where you can barely see, especially in dark scenes. So you guys can see. Okay, one more, and then let's call it a wrap. This is abstract colors. Okay, I see which one's a little bit ahead now. Off to the side. So with a bunch of colors, actually it's starting to lose a little bit of sun. So, but with a bunch of colors, Aero 15 OLED does pretty good. Off to the side. And up from the top. And then off to this side. And let's tilt them back again. And back. Okay, so that should be good enough for these outdoor tests. Hopefully it's good enough for you guys. I am starting to lose a little bit of a sun again because it is getting later in the afternoon, and like I said, it's been pretty overcast and misty all day. So let's take it back indoors and conclude this video. Okay, so that is it for hopefully the final display comparison of my Alienware M15 to the R7 to the left, and to the Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED on the right. So for this portion of the comparisons, we have learned that in the brightest sunlights or the brightest lights period, the off-axis or off-angle viewing is pretty decent, but not good, not even great. Just depends on the lighting environment. But especially like when we took them out in sunlight, they were barely visible, at least from what I was seeing. I haven't gotten a chance to edit the footage yet, so I won't really know until I go back there and edit. But from what I was seeing through the camera, and also in with my eyes, it didn't look like the colors and the screens were doing too well out in that bright sunlight, especially in off angle viewing. But in reality, how many of us are going to be watching in that off angle viewing anyways? And most of the times you're not going to be really watching movies on a 15-inch laptop and sharing it with like 4 or 5 different people watching a movie with a laptop. So viewing angles for 1 or even 2 or 3 people should be pretty fine off angle, especially indoors. In daylight, that's a different matter. We've also learned what the color gamuts were, like what sRGB is, Adobe RGB, and DCI-P3, and what they mean as far as when you're comparing displays or monitors or laptop displays, TVs. I mean, I could have even brought my Samsung QN90A outdoors, and because my Samsung QN90A, it had a tested peak brightness of 1900 nits, and it probably still wouldn't have done well outdoors. You could have probably brought in a Samsung QD OLED or a LG G2 OLED. Those are the two that get really bright right now, or mini LED from like Apple on their MacBooks, and they still probably wouldn't have done as good, or just as, or they wouldn't have done much better than the Alienware M15 R7 or this Gigabyte Aero 15 OLED. So that is it for the comparisons. Hopefully this is, like I said, hopefully this will be the last, and we can move on to the full review coming soon. Big thank you to all the guys that make these 4K demos. This is Color Magic or Color Abstract Colors, to Eugene Belsky, to LG, Samsung, and others for all their 4K HDR display demos. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at The Workout Geek for all my latest happenings and great workout tips. Till next time, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. And we will see you soon for another video. Take care, everybody.
I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look me up.